The games are about to begin. You're watching Butler Esports.
Hello and welcome back. I'm going to be really quick here because we're going to jump into the middle of a round 2 game between Butler and IU. Butler ended up winning their first game, I believe, against Purdue Fort Wayne, I believe. And IU won their first game against Indiana Southeastern. So we're going to jump into the middle of game 1 of this round 2 series while we're here. So I'm excited to see this. We're about 22 minutes in, so let me give you a quick rundown on this game. You have Butler on the red side, the right side of your screen, and Indiana on the blue side on your left. We see the Corky is another pick, and the Skarner that we've seen all day are two champions that are very highly contested in this game, and we're jumping right into a Baron here by IU. They're going to pull off because the TPs are coming in. Leona is going to get engaged on it. They're peeling this off. Aurora is on the back line. High Prince does have his ultimate to trap in. Talon is going to go over the wall. They've stopped the Baron. Carthago is completely isolated here. Nice Nico ultimate there, but he's going to get exploded by the Varus. Sleep jumps in onto Carthago. Is going to have enough damage to kill him. Sai is just being completely held down by Yama, and he gets the impale onto Bullforce Talon, who is maybe going to be able to run away here. He does have the ability to jump over all these walls, and it's back to the Baron for IU.
That's right, and Yama did a great job there as Nautilus engaging a few different people that were in the bushes there on topside jungle. They might catch Talon here, though.
Oh, he got the base off. That's funny. But they're going to go right back to this Baron. Very high level play there from IU to start the Baron, get the TP out, get the Butler team there, and then peel off and make a play. Very, very well played there. We're going to TP in. They're going to try and chase, it looks like, to try and stop some of these people with the Baron. High Prince is going to get rooted. Jacob Bacon is going to hit the stun down. Sai is in there with his immune, but he's going to just die. They did get one Baron off. I guess it's worth one for, maybe not one for two, but if they can get this dragon on the other side of the play, it might be okay for Butler.
Yeah, and IU's chasing down, trying to make it in time to try to contest this dragon. But they might be a little bit too late. It looks like Butler here might be getting this dragon. Saya
does have 2 items, so she does melt it pretty quick. They are going to get the... Oh! That was almost a little scary. That almost got taken by the Corky. That would have been insane little steal right there. But Butler does get the dragon, but IU's more than happy to get that Baron. Because now they can just play the map. Easy game. Just play these 2 side lanes. They have the Aurora on side. They have Corky on side. But they don't have any TPs, which can sometimes make these macro Baron plays kind of difficult to pull off.
But sure, it looks like Loki Dosi is going to get that mid lane turret, that tier 2. And we might see a fight here soon. Yama might look to engage here. Or get engaged on here.
He does have plenty of backup even though he's getting engaged. The Impale does hit onto the Leona, pulls her away. She does not have her W. She's completely isolated. Carthag. Oh, that is actually the Nico. Bacon gets a massive ult, but there's no follow-up to have any threat on Loki Dosi.
Yeah, and that was well played. I really liked that that Nautilus hook into the Skarner grab there. That was really great play there from IU to get a couple of kills.
Yeah, whenever you have that Skarner Impale and you can bring somebody into your team, into your damage carries, it makes it really easy. And IU is just going to keep threatening, maybe probably threaten the end here. They do also have 6 grubs. They're very strong. The Aurora ult goes down on the side, but he does have his immune. Gwen is immune. Talon goes in deep onto Loki Dosi, almost kills him, does end up finding him in the end. But Carthago is getting absolutely murdered by Sleep's Corky here. The hook does land onto Leona. Do they have enough damage to kill her? They absolutely do. High Prince there on the Aurora is going to get the combo off, and this should just be the end of the game. Quick hop jump into this game to watch IU slowly, not really slowly, sorry. It took them 4 minutes from the moment we jumped in to when they won that game.
Yeah, that was a lot of energy there in that game.
Yeah.
It was, yeah, from right when we jumped into it, just a lot going on, many team fights. Yeah, GG's.
So, since we hopped into that game quickly, we can't talk much about the game because we missed it. We did see very quickly IU get that Baron and just absolutely run away with the game. But let's talk about these two teams in general. Round 1 winners. Like I said, I'm pretty sure Butler beat Purdue Fort Wayne, and IU beat Indiana Southeastern, I believe. Easy 2-0s for both those teams, and now they're playing each other in the second round, and IU's off to a hot start. But you're from IU. Let's hear a little bit about the IU team. What do you know?
Yeah, sure. So, obviously, the player that I'm looking out for a lot is Yama. We saw a couple great Nautilus plays there from him that game. A couple great engages, a lot of great positioning. Yeah, so definitely Yama, the support for IU is someone to look out for. Also, Loki Dosi, the ADC, the Varus that we just saw. Great player. Yeah, just a couple highlights there. How about for Butler, since you're a fan?
Well, the cool thing about both these teams is there's a lot of returning players from previous years of Battle for Indiana. You know, on the Butler team, you have Carthago, who has been here for a couple years and has been playing on this team. You have the bot lane, the support, and Papa Jester, who's been here a couple times. Sai in the top lane has also been here for a couple of these Big Easts. I believe he was here last year. And then Bull 4, Kim in the jungle. I actually don't think he's ever had the chance to play in a Battle for Indiana because of like scheduling. So he's actually making his first showing at Battle for Indiana while being a longtime Butler player. But the IU people, I recognize a lot of them from previous years in High Prince, Loki Dosi. They're a very good team who are always really competitive here at Battle for Indiana. So it's fun to see these guys back and playing again.
Yeah, absolutely. And it looks like we're hopping to the draft here.
Yeah, we'll definitely be hopping in draft pretty quickly because, you know, the spectator delays, they were already done before we really got that hot drop in. Also, going into IU, they were the runner-ups last year. They are here trying to win it all. They're a competitive team. They're a really good team. And I don't know how much they have improved from last year, if this is a roster that plays together a bunch either. But looking at that quick win, they seem very good.
Oh, yeah. They seem like they're in tune. Honestly, a little bit of IUB bias, but I think they might win it all this time. I don't know.
Maybe. They're definitely one of the top favorites to win. And as we see in this draft, Butler banning the Zoe on blue side into the Rel. Interesting bans. I mean, they're comfort bans. Zoe isn't very often known as a meta-defining pick or maybe an OP champion, but if somebody plays Zoe on the other team, you ban that champion because they are normally very, very good.
Yeah, that's right. We see the Talon ban come out.
Looks like a respect ban. He probably, I mean, we hot dropped in the last game. He was 3-1. He's a very, very good Talon, so maybe a respect ban towards him. The Skarner ban also coming out, a champion that we have seen a ton of today and a lot of prio onto that Skarner. And the Yone ban as well. This next ban could be a bunch of different things. It could be Gwen. It could be Aurora. Hard to say exactly what this next ban is going to be. A Silas ban. Interesting. Not really sure what the Silas ban is about. Maybe they want to play champions with really good ults. Maybe like Malphite or Swain or something along those lines. Or Bacon is a pretty good Silas, the mid laner for Butler. So maybe they're respect banning that. But
Yeah,
they have a lot of OPs up right now.
Yeah, for sure. It looks like they're really taking out like a lot of mid lane champions for Bacon there.
The Gwen locked in from Butler is probably going to end up being answered by IU's Aurora. The same top lane matchup we saw from last game. Yep, there's the Aurora. It makes sense. Butler's top laner Sai is a very, very good Gwen player. He loves it, but IU really likes these solo lanes and Aurora Corki, so they're just going to send it right back in game 2.
That's right. Yeah. Very interesting picks. Sending it back. Maybe they could repeat what they did last game once again. We'll have to see. What do you think is going to come out here for Butler? What picks do you see?
I mean, they got to answer the mid lane and probably Oriana, yeah, Nico, Syndra. Syndra's really good into Corki. It's maybe my favorite pick into Corki. Wei could have been really good there too. Some sort of mage mid is what you can expect out of this Butler mid laner. He's going to play something that can facilitate and, you know, have utility, whether he's behind or ahead. He's not necessarily the damage carry of this team, but he always is a useful part of this team. And right here, I would assume it's going to be a jungle pick or an AD carry here. It's hard to exactly say what they're going to look for because on blue side, you really don't have, and it's Kiana. That is a Kim classic, and Ivern would be an interesting pick for IU.
Looks like they're also hovering the Volibear also, but we'll see what happens here.
And Nocturne Karthus would also be interesting. I think it's hard to say. Maokai, all these champions are very interesting. I think Maokai, okay, yeah. I didn't want to say it. I think Ivern would have been the worst pick there for IU because it's very easy for Kiana to play that jungle matchup. You know, you could be very aggressive, play a lot, but the lockdown of Maokai, the point and click CC, I think is a lot smarter, a lot better.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. And we see a Leona ban here also, which is pretty interesting.
I think that's probably a respect again from last game. I assume there'll be a Varus ban. Maybe it looked like the Varus was really strong last game, and Varus is really good into what Butler has drafted already. But so far, both these comps have clear strengths, clear weaknesses, obvious what they want to do. I think Butler's top comp needs engage big time, whether it's a Nautilus or a Poppy. Well, Poppy I don't think works. They need big time engage. That's all they need. Poppy ban actually from Butler is kind of interesting. Ashe would have been really good for Butler as well. Good ban there from IU. I assume this is going to be an 80 carry pick here for IU. Maybe the Varus, maybe the Zaya.
Yeah, it could be the Varus. Interested to see what's going to come out here. Also for Butler, they could do something like Alistar as well.
Alistar could be good. Yeah, they just need engage. I mean, they have a lot of good damage. They have a lot of utility, but they really need engage. Syndra, so that means it's Syndra bot lane, Corki bot lane, one of these two. So now we have some flex picks. Because you could play Corki Maokai bot lane, you could play Syndra Maokai bot lane. Maybe we don't know what the jungle pick is yet. Maybe it's Corki top, Aurora mid. IU's comp has a lot of options here. That makes draft really difficult for these next two picks for Butler. And I have no idea what they pick. They could go, they can't AP, they need AD. The Varus is a good pick here for Butler into both Corki and Syndra. Syndra specifically being a immobile champion, the Varus ulti is very valuable, but they need big time engage here. And it could be Galio. Galio could be really good here for Butler. I'm very interested what this pick's going to be. Braum. Ooh, I kind of hate the Braum pick. It doesn't give you enough engage.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I also don't agree with that pick. Just not a lot of engage.
I mean, it can stop the Syndra ult and the Corki rockets. Very valuable in that regard, but they just lack so much engage. I mean, it's a good comp. Don't get me wrong. It's a very good comp. It's just very hard to play that Butler comp mechanically, stylistically. There's a lot that you have to do absolutely picture perfect to pull that off. And the IU comp is a lot easier to play.
Yeah, for sure. I actually really like the Rakan pick too. Like IU gets their engage a little bit there, a little bit of tankiness, can easily escape if something goes wrong. Like for instance, like a Braum ult comes up, like the Rakan can just E away. So I actually like that pick a lot. I really like IU's comp. I don't know if I like Butler's comp as much, but yeah.
Also, I don't know, a little bit of draft theory here. I don't know if Butler decided they were going to go Braum before the Syndra pick or if the Syndra pick is what made them do that. But if they were looking to go for Braum, you have to ban Rakan instead of Poppy. I feel like maybe they wanted to go Rakan and that's why they banned the Poppy. I'm not 100% sure on that, but Rakan is a horrible lane for Braum to play into. It's very hard to lock him down. Very hard to get enough auto attacks to get that passive to stun him. It's an interesting draft for sure for both these teams. And we still don't know who's going bot lane and who's going mid for the side of IU.
Yeah, that's true. It's a big question mark. I definitely am thinking because of that Braum pick, maybe it's not Syndra. But then again, of course, as you said before, those Corki rockets could also be blocked by the Braum. So I really don't know either. It's gonna be interesting to see what happens.
I think Syndra has a better matchup into the Orianna than the Corki does. So if both Loki, Dosi, and the mid laner for IU are comfortable on either one of these champions, in theory, the better one might be Syndra mid lane. I don't know quite what the Corki matchup looks like into the Varus. I gotta say, I'm not sure I've played that one. It's a interesting one for sure. But if they're both comfortable on either one of these champions, it gives them a lot of options. And maybe you go Syndra mid into the Orianna. It's a slightly better matchup than the Corki Orianna matchup.
Yeah, I think so. Maybe IU is just like testing the waters here with that Corki ADC, just because of those new buffs. Like
Yeah.
maybe they're just gonna try it out, see how it goes. Maybe it'll be a staple in their future if this game goes well. Who knows? But it's definitely like two very interesting comps, given the state of last game too. Like pretty different, pretty different.
Yeah, very different comps. And I think we're going to see a lot of early game aggression happening this game. You know, the Orianna Syndra or Orianna Corki matchup. Either way, it's going to be a lot about trade patterns, and who wins those trade patterns is who's going to have prio. And that prio is going to be big this game with Malachi, Kiana, because whoever has that prio is going to be able to move to their jungle easier. And helping these two junglers is going to be a big part of this game. If Kiana can get ahead, she has a lot of targets. She can one-shot. She can absolutely one-shot everybody else. Everybody in this game, maybe besides Malachi. So for Butler, it's going to be a lot about facilitating and putting Kiana in a position to succeed out of this jungle position.
Yeah, IU definitely has to be a little bit weary, especially in the beginning of this game because of that Kiana. Like just so mobile, can just be anywhere on the map. Like IU definitely needs to keep their eye on Kiana at all times. Get a lot of vision out there.
Yeah, and I'm not sure really who's going to be able to fight the Gwen this game either. Gwen in her W doesn't take damage from anyone outside. So if you get into a team fight or a skirmish that is very quick to play, you know, very messy, you know, that Kiana wants, that Rakan kind of wants, that Malachi kind of wants. They want these really quick, you know, make a play on somebody, get out type of play. Gwen is really good in that scenario because she's not going to take any damage from these ranged carries. Syndra, Corki aren't going to be able to kill her. So also if Aurora doesn't get strong enough to fight her in that W, or Malachi gets set behind that he's too squishy, this Gwen could be a very big pick for this game as well. Both of these comps are psycho. These are very psycho team comps.
Yeah, definitely. Especially with like the main driving force of like IU's engage being that Rakan W. Like Gwen can just avoid that completely. So it's definitely to be something mindful of. I don't know if they really have a good answer for Gwen. That's just a big question mark there, I feel like, for this comp.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I mean, they have a lot of options to go backwards and like kite back, which is good into the Gwen, but both these comps actually have a lot of answers to each other. They have a lot of different ways they can play the game. And this is the fun thing about when you have comps that aren't 4 melee champions, 3 of them being tanks, is they're really hard to predict. Like, it's very hard to tell what this Kiana is going to do this game. It's very hard to tell how the Syndra Corki are going to be able to play into Gwen Kiana. If Varus is going to get ahead enough that his poke is one-shotting these squishy targets. If Aurora is able to find sides and flanks and angles to get a big ultimate onto her team, onto Butler's team, it could be a very interesting game. So I'm hoping we see high pace, a lot of kills, LPL style game out of this.
Yeah, I agree. I'm really looking forward to this one. It's gonna be amazing, and it looks like it's gonna be that Corki bot lane.
Oh yeah, a little bit of a quick spoiler alert before we get into game here. We do see it is Corki bot lane. Both AD carries also have cleanse this game, which is interesting. I don't understand it quite for the Varus. I guess the charm is kind of from Rakan is nice, but we're also seeing Hail of Blades from both AD carries, so we are definitely going to see a lot of fighting early. And I just realized that the jungle Yama fanboy is because his support's name is Yama. I just realized that. That's got to feel pretty good for a jungle support synergy right there.
Absolutely good communications on that team. Good synergy. Yeah, it's gonna be a good one.
Yeah, this is what like I said, if Sleep and Loki Dosi both can play either Corki or Syndra, I like this matchup and this orientation of this team comp a little bit more. That Syndra Orianna matchup is a lot better than the Corki Orianna matchup. This is going to allow Syndra, or allow mid lane for IU to have a lot more pressure, play lane states, play wave control, and really be able to facilitate and move towards jungle.
Absolutely, and I could be mistaken, but I think I've actually seen Loki Dosi play Corki once before. Maybe before this patch, in the last game I casted. I forget what school it was against, but I think he played Corki in that series. So it could be interesting to see what Loki Dosi does here.
And yeah, and as we're seeing out of this mid lane, there's a lot of trading. This is what I mean. This Syndra Orianna matchup is pretty good for the Syndra. If you hit your Qs, you can dodge some of her Qs. You definitely have a lot more lane control, and you can really control this lane. We're just gonna see trading out of all three of these lanes early here. Nobody is trying to scale. Everybody is trying to fight.
Yeah, absolutely. And that electrocute from High Prince there onto Sai was kind of big. Did a lot of damage there for those top lane early game trades.
Yeah, and as you also can see, all three lanes are pushing for the side of IU, which it all comes down to who's trading. If you're having these pushing lanes for this IU side, it's because you are trading better. If the reverse was true, it would mean Butler is trading better. But it also means that Kiana is going to be down here to make a play, the flash forward to get the stun. Rakan is completely rooted up. He's just going to die, make sure he walks away. Oh, but first blood, Orianna died to a Maokai gank in the mid lane. It looks like both jungle and mid had to flash for the side of IU, and no sums were used bot lane to get the kill for... it looks like, I don't know exactly how that happened, but it had to be because the trading in mid was very favoring Sleep, and he just made a play. Oh, Kiana got the flash out of Corki here. Does he have enough damage to get the kill? One more WQ would be enough. The Q there from Varus does end up missing. The arrow does not land. And Maokai ended up taking Kiana's blue buff, which is actually pretty big for the Maokai here. We are seeing more trading in the top side. He does hit level 4 to level 3, but he has no cooldowns right now. This could hurt if he gets hit by that. Yeah, that's going to hurt a lot and put him in a good position there for High Prince. Sai's just going to have to base TP here.
And something to note also, Braum out of both summoners, and Yama and BOL trading there.
Yeah, Loki Dosi also does not have flash here. So a lot of flashes traded across the map. That first blood does go over to Maokai, which isn't as good as the kill onto Varus, but you will take the first blood any day of the week. Any day of the week. And we're seeing a big CS advantage here happening in the mid lane too. Sleep seems a whole lot more comfortable in the Orianna Syndra matchup than Bacon does. You're also starting to see a little bit of a CS discrepancy in the jungle because of that camp getting taken. That's -4 for Kim, +4 for Yamafan, so it's a delta 8 difference there. So since Maokai is going to be able to collect these camps that Kim was not able to take, he's going to be a camp ahead. He's going to be at level 4. He'll hit level 5 and level 6 first unless Kim can find a way to get XP either from leeching lanes or from stealing camps or somehow securing every scuttle. And we're seeing just a ton of trading on mid. Sleep seems very comfortable in this matchup.
It's interesting to me that Sai went in there on that on High Prince, because I thought they were definitely going to set up, because High Prince was sort of out of mana. I thought they were going to set up for a potential Kiana gank top, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen.
There's definitely an option for Kiana to dive top here, but it looks like she is instead going to just go mid, hold the wave. She does flash and must have flashed and missed Q on mid lane, and probably had the kill from that health if she didn't miss her Q. I assume it was a flash water ice Q that got missed. I think you're absolutely right where the top dive is a much safer, more consistent play, but both four ended up trying the mid play and it just did not work out.
Now the dragon's up, so I'm interested to see what's going to happen, especially looking at Kiana being bot side. Is there going to be another gank? I think Yama and Loki Dosi need to be a little bit weary of that, potentially.
Yeah, Butler does have all their tempo, and their strong side is the bot side, so they should be able to play for this dragon. Yama is going to try and get that grand interest, but does miss. Butler wants to shove this wave so that they can play for this dragon, because I think they do now know that Maokai's top. So Bull 4 is going to start the dragon, while Maokai is most likely, Yama fanboy, is most likely going to start the grubs here. especially since all that tempo, unless they go for a dive, which he is wrapping around for that right now.
I think so, but
The stun does land on the Rakan, but he doesn't have any follow-up. That's kind of the disadvantage of having a Braum over a Nautilus or an All-Star or something along those lines.
yeah, absolutely. It is interesting to me that Kiana hasn't gone and started the drag yet. I guess they really want to kill that bot lane there.
Yeah, they're going to try and play this dive here, I guess. I think, again, like you said, the Dragon's a much more consistent play, similar to the top dive. It's a little bit of a Manchester versus Purdue thing that we saw this morning, where one team is making the play while the other one is slightly behind the play or making a not ideal choice. I think the better option there is, like you said, just due to the Dragon.
And I think Butler maybe is banking off the fact that, well, incorrectly at least, that IU doesn't have a lot of vision down there, so that Kiana would be a little bit sneaky. But IU does have a few wards in that river, so that's just something that Butler, I guess, missed perhaps.
Yeah, Butler does have a lot of control wards down. They did have a lot of control over that river, and they knew Maokai was top, but by not... Oh, Shockwave, does Syndra have the... No, Syndra does not have the range for Unleashed Power there. Maokai is taking these grubs, but Gwen is going to come down. The Grump went over to Kiana. Do they have enough damage to kill him before he can get out? No, they do not. That's a lot of flashes down from the side of IU. Braum is going to get here, but not in time before he dies. Oh, he flashes forward to get the kill onto the Maokai. Do not think he's going to have enough damage to kill this Syndra here, especially without the peel from the Rakan and Aurora there. Carthago fighting Loki Dosi on the bot side, level 5 to level 6, forced to flash. If that big rocket would have hit, that was definitely a kill.
Yeah, for sure. Carthago got really lucky there, and needs to be a little bit careful here because Loki Dosi could totally confirm this kill at some point, but looks like he's backing off.
Yeah, just a lot of scrapping going on around the map from both of these teams, and they're coming out in the favor of IU. That top fight is just a little hard to take because it was a 4v3 there for the side of IU. You know, Orianna had to base because Sleep is winning these trades so hard. Top lane was down a level. Jungle's down a level because of the way this early game is gone. And now we're seeing Butler kind of posture here for this Dragon. Maybe. They do know that Maokai is topside. And there's a big wave here from top. So Gwen could walk down to this to really confirm that they get this Dragon. But it's hard to say exactly what Butler wants to do, because a fight could be bad for them.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't see Maokai moving down bot lane yet. Oh, it looks like he has started to. So maybe they're going to try to contest this drag or just start it. Sleep still chipping down Bacon's health a whole lot. So it's going to be interesting to see what goes on these next few minutes.
Yeah, and as we can see, we're seeing a big CS difference in mid lane. Oh, flash forward from Kiana. Do they have the damage to kill Sleep? They absolutely do. That was very well played there from Kiana and Bacon to set up the supreme display of talent into the Shockwave, kill Sleep without him having any flash. They knew that. It's going to be a nice little kill there for the side of Butler. And as I was saying, the CS diff in mid and top has led to about a 1k gold lead for each of those solo laners for the side of IU. So Butler needs to find a way to stabilize those lanes.
Yeah, for sure. And I thought also, well, I guess it's because Syndra had the TP and Butler knew that. But I thought right after that kill on Syndra, they would just march right down to Dragon and take it. But I guess I forgot that Sleep did have that TP.
It's also a little hard. Kiana doesn't do it very fast, and you are having a lethality poke Varus, so he's not a ton of help either in doing it quickly. And Loki Dosi and Yama do have the bot lane push, so it was kind of hard to do that. And this is kind of why you wanted to trade it on the other side of the map earlier when it was free objective, because it's hard to do it without setup. And Bloodborne is in the top lane. Aurora is going to jump away. Does cost her flash. I don't know if he's going to have enough damage to do this. Maybe another auto Q, WQ. No, does not have enough damage or the cooldowns. Is going to get the ult and flash out of High Prince there, though, which you'll take that for just walking up top lane.
Yeah, absolutely. Great burst from the Kiana at multiple points during this game so far.
Cleanse from Corki on the arrow and flash out of Corki there. So right there, Butler wanted to play for the grubs after that play. Braum was going to start moving up there, but then Loki Dosi went in on Carthago to bring Braum back down, which gave IU tempo on these grubs. So that play looks bad from Loki Dosi, but he thought it was a 1v1, and by blowing his flash and his cleanse, they are going to get these grubs topside. So from a viewer perspective, that looks really bad. Like, it looks like he just lost his flash and cleanse for no reason. But it actually, on a macro and team-wide scale, it works out because it's the reason that they were able to get those grubs.
Yeah, and he cancels Braum's back there too, just doing these things that are going to affect the game in the long run.
Gwen all-inning, using her Ignite and ulti there for really just a little bit of lane pressure. Maybe the lane's getting really hard top lane because of the gold advantage that the Aurora does have. So he needs to get some pressure, which is going to cost him that ult and Ignite. Maokai and Rakan are coming around this mid lane, going to try and make a play on Bacon. The Twisted Advance comes out. The Grand Entrance doesn't hit anyone. The Shockwave keeps him just long enough, but he does get out with that dash, and that's just the value of Rakan. He's so slippery.
Yeah, and that's what I'm talking about. Like, just avoiding all of these different abilities. Rakan could just E away and just dodge everything. WE, just so much mobility.
And it was just not well played by IU. They noticed how the mid lane was going. They knew what was going on, and they were very quick to react. They got the Maokai there, they got the Rakan there, and they made the dive happen. Loki Dosi maybe in a tough spot. The Supreme Play of Talent is up. Corrupted Chain does land. Absolute one-shot there for the Kiana.
Yeah, that burst damage is really something. Like, the Kiana is so powerful right now, especially with an item now. Looking really scary.
Does not get his base stopped either there. Yama tried valiantly to stop that base. And you're absolutely right. That burst damage is what Butler is going to be relying on. You know, those carries of IU are very squishy. Corki, Syndra, easy to one-shot. Even Aurora doesn't really build health until second item. She goes Cosmic Drive, or sometimes third item, depending on what her build ends up being. It looks like she might be going the Cosmic Drive right now. So she can also be very squishy. So a fed Kiana could definitely do a lot of damage in these fights.
Yeah, absolutely. And it looks like Rakan is coming down this bot river right now. Sleep almost kills Bacon there in the mid lane. A lot of burst from that Syndra, but Kiana coming down, gonna catch Sleep out potentially.
The Shockwave does land to put Sleep under the tower. The flash there is a little weird. I think you just have to accept your death. I mean, he's trying his best to get out there, but I was going to say Sleep is absolutely dominating this mid lane, which he is. He's very comfortable in this Syndra-Orianna matchup, and Butler needs to find a way to stabilize it, and that's how you do it. You bring your jungler mid, you bring your support mid, you do what you have to do to add pressure to Sleep so he can't constantly push up and poke out Bacon.
Yeah, you're absolutely right here. And also just in the bot lane, as we are talking about before, I mean, this poke that's constantly, Carthago is constantly giving to this bot lane and Loki Dosi, just forcing them to be pushed back now, is definitely something to be aware of if you're IU. Maybe Maokai should look towards the bot lane here for a gank or to help at some point.
Dragon coming up in 55 seconds. Butler definitely should look to play for this. They have flash advantage on their carries. Syndra is going to unleash power onto Bacon, cost her flash, but Kiana is here to finish off and get the kill onto Sleep, but he does get the wave. Butler definitely should look to play for this Dragon in 38 seconds. Get a reset on Ori. You know, you have your ultimates, you have flash advantages. Play for it. They are going to lose first tower here for High Prince in basically a 1v1. The top difference, a Supreme Display of Talent onto the Maokai. TP coming in from Orianna. Maokai does have flash and phase rush. It's very hard to get a kill with all that move speed. Twisted Advance comes in. Grand Entrance is going to go down. Doesn't hit full fort quite yet. The Orianna ult's going to finish him off. Bacon is completely stuck alone with no shockwave. Another second, just barely not enough damage there to get the kill on either Yama or Yama Fanboy.
That was a very weird fight. I feel like there was a lot in between. There was a lot of time in between a lot of those actions that were going on between the Maokai ult and then Aurora coming in and also ulting to confirm the kill onto Bull. It was kind of a little bit of an odd fight.
Yeah, there was definitely a really weird fight that started over seemingly nothing. The stun's gonna land onto the Varus. Like I said, seemingly nothing. There was really no reason to fight there. Bull 4 thought he had enough damage to get Yama, but with that locket, he's very hard to kill with the phase rush. He was able to kite that fight out until his cooldowns came back up, which cost Bull 4 his life, but it was really close. Yama lived with like 100 health. Sorry, there's two Yamas. Fanboy lived with like 100 health. Yama himself lived with like a corrupted arrow does land on the sleep. Does Bull 4 have enough damage to kill him before the TP comes in? TP does come down. Aurora does not have her ult quite yet. The word lane is almost back up. Kiana is going to go invisible, is going to be able to jump away to get back, and does barely get out of there before that Aurora weirdling comes up.
And it looks like IU here is going to start this dragon and probably get it. I think Kiana, the right move here is to clear those Krugs and then back, potentially, and just do a little bit of a reset on the part of Butler. Or maybe contesting this dragon too is also a good option.
Yeah, but in the middle of that, because of the TP bot lane to try and save Sleep's life, Sai was able to get the top tower for Butler, but Bacon is getting engaged on here by Yama and Loki Dosi, but I don't think they have quite enough damage. So that TP happened bot lane, and it almost saved Sleep's life. Didn't end up saving his life, but it cost IU their top tower. Very well played to cross-map that there from Sai that time.
Yeah, definitely. Good exchange. Like if you're giving up a dragon, might as well get a top tower out of it.
Yeah, and they're really close to mid lane. Oh, they did get the mid tower there. That's that 6 Grubs power. They push these waves really fast, and it's because of the poor cross-mapping from Butler. If Butler would have cross-mapped the first dragon, be 1-to-1 of dragons, if they would have cross-mapped the second time for the Grubs, they would have been able to make a play on that, but because of IU's smart play early in the game, they're putting themselves in a good spot to have this power in the Grubs and the dragons right now.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right here. Having 2 dragons is huge for IU, especially when this game is as close as it is. I think that might help put them ahead a little bit if they could just maintain their position right now. High Prince is looking really scary with basically 3 complete items, having 4 kills, huge bounty potential. High Prince is looking really scary.
Looks like IU's going to try and dive the Gwen. No, they're just going to push her off this tower so they can get the tower, deny her some minions, deny her some waves, but Butler is going to cross-map onto the Herald. It's a 2k gold lead, 1.5k gold lead for the side of IU right now, which is not a very big lead. This is a very close game and is going to come down to who makes the big mistakes. I've been saying it backstage all day. League is a game about a little bit of time and then all at once. If you start getting these little cracks, it all comes down to what happens in the big moment that really blows open the game. IU is going to be looking to play these side lanes, play around this Aurora, while Butler is going to be looking to have Wombo combo with the Kiana, with the Gwen, with the Orianna.
I'm interested to see what's going to happen here with this bot lane. I keep seeing Kiana posture down there or moving around a lot. I'm interested to see what's going to happen here.
It looks like IU is just going to permanently contest Butler's camps now that they got all the tier 1s taken down, which is the correct play. Yama Fanboy is falling behind Bull 4. He's down 2 levels, and that's made up for kinda in Sleep being up a level. I mean, yeah, it's now a level advantage for Bull 4, but we're going to see, it's all going to come down to what happens here with this Kiana. If Kiana can find a big play, this game could be blown wide open for Butler, and the same could be said for IU. If Aurora can find a big play, or if they can deny Kiana from having a big play, this game will be blown open for the side of IU, especially with Baron being up on the map.
Yeah, absolutely. And Yama is like all over the place on this map. Definitely needs to be in the back of Butler's minds here. You keep being able to like walk away and run away, and he's just everywhere. I feel like always engaging.
Yeah, he's definitely in the right spots, and it's very hard to kill the Rakan. I was laughing there for a second because that Braum base is like, oh, what are you going to do, Loki? Is he going to hit me? Kim going into High Prince, the Supreme Acclaimed Talent does not stun. He's completely isolated, and Yama is just there. Bull 4 with the absolute troll play that might have blown open the game for IU. The stun does not land onto Bacon there from Sleep. The unleashed display, or the unleashed power is not enough. Flash comes down, but Yama is right there because he always is.
What did I say before? I'm just saying, like, he's everywhere. He's ever on the map, always making the right choices. It's really impressive. And I'm interested to see what Butler's going to do here.
The stun does come down. The corrupted arrow does land on the Yama. They do take out him. Gwen still does have her ultimate. There are no ultimates for the side of IU. They're probably just going to have to get away and not do this Baron, but they might be able to get Sai on the back end of it. One more rocket's going to be enough. Nice kill. Yama flashes forward onto Papa Jester, who's going to get stunned by Carthago. Nice stun there, but Bull 4 is here. Does not have the ultimate. Double flash out from the side of IU's. Both solo laners carries. They are going to kill Loki Dosi. Do they have enough damage or health to do Baron? I do not think they do. Carthago barely doesn't kill High Prince. Lives with barely 100 health. Yama Fanboy might look to do something. No, he's just going to base here. Everyone's going to reset play for the Dragon. No, the base TP does... Oh! Flash over the Q there from Kiana to not die to Yama Fanboy. That should put Butler in a position to get this Dragon, except for the stun comes out on Bacon. And the unleashed power is going to be enough to kill them with the help of Yama. A lot of fighting going on. A lot of scrapping going on right now.
Absolutely. That was a really, really good play from Bull 4. That was a great flash. I thought for sure that Yama Fanboy was going to back there.
Me too. I don't think he saw the Braum. I'm not sure. It's just everybody's fighting, which is what I want to see. I love it. The more kills, the more high paces, the better. We're now at about a 2.5k gold lead for the side of IU.
I mean, this is the battle for Indiana, after all. There should be a lot of battles.
Yes. Everybody has to fight. If you want to win that trophy, if you want to take the belt home at the end of the weekend, you have to fight. There is nobody who's going to take this easily. Nobody who's going to take it passively. You have to be aggressive. You have to push forward. And that's what we're seeing here from both these teams. They both understand what's at risk, what they have to do, and they are going to fight tooth and nail to stay in the winner's bracket here today.
And once again, Butler just handing over another objective to IU.
The Herald, is it going to charge? I think it is going to charge. Will get that mid tower. So they trade mid tower for soul point, which is not the worst. A little bit of gold back into the side of Butler's pocket, but IU is more than happy to put themselves on soul point. Every carry, basically, besides Gwen, is at 2 items. Aurora's getting close to 3 items. Gwen might be tough here. He's going to have to just fight to try and survive. Sleep cannot hit the stun on the Gwen through that W, but Bull 4 is here. Supreme display of talent does not hit at all. The double root is not enough. Going to die to the unleashed power, but Carthago is here. The arrow does land. Stun misses. Yama does have a great grand entrance. Nice shockwave there as well, but High Prince does not die. Is barely going to live while Yama Fanboy and Loki Dosi come in to clean up the fight, and it is a triple kill for Loki Dosi.
Yeah, wow, unbelievable, great play. I can't believe High Prince made it out of there alive. That's shocking to me. I feel like if High Prince would have been killed there by Butler, I mean, that fight would have ended completely differently.
Yeah, there was a lot going on right there. I don't know if it was the lockets that kept her alive. I don't know if it was her healing. I don't know if she missed a bunch of abilities or dodged a bunch of abilities. A lot was going on right there on that screen. And at the end of it, High Prince lives, which is, like you said, was the game changer there. If she dies, if that supreme display of talent lands onto her, pushes her into the wall, stun, maybe she dies. These fights are on a knife's edge and are super close to going either way and have been all game, but the coin has continuously landed on IU.
Yeah, seems so. I mean, now there's a 5k gold discrepancy there between IU and Butler. And as you said before, it's soul point as well. Butler really needs to take these objectives super seriously now in the jungle. They really need to be careful and not let IU get that soul.
The Baron is also going to alleviate some of the XP difference we saw in jungle while continuously to push forward the XP lead that you saw in the solo lanes from IU. This game has really came down to very small fights, but has really been better played by the solo laners of IU by far.
Yeah, absolutely. And it is a little bit until this next drag, which is good. If you're Butler, you could set up a little bit there. But I know, and I know Cloud Soul isn't like that great usually. But I mean, it would be pretty good if you had a Rakan on your team. You know, getting that extra mobility, it would be kind of nice if it's Yama.
Cleanse coming out there from Carthago to not die to the Scatter the Weak Unleash power combo there from Sleep. We're going to see IU playing on this 2 lanes, a 1-4 little setup here. Butler does not have 2 items on Orianna yet, so she's not very strong right now, while IU is seeing 3 items on their top laner, 2.5 on their mid. Sai is trying to fight High Prince, who does use the Word Lane to get away. Very well played there from High Prince. Doesn't get tagged by the supreme display of talent either and get stunned. Just incredible to get out there.
Yeah, I'm shocked that High Prince made it out of there. I thought for sure Kiana was at least going to chase High Prince down a bit, but just got out of there.
Just barely got out of there. Use that ultimate to incredible accuracy there to make sure he got over that wall, got outside of the supreme display of talent. Just really, really well played there. And now they're going to continuously push on these 2 lanes. Also, incredible high-level gameplay. Oh, Shockwave lands on it too. Loki Dosi has to get away. Flash out from Sleep. Charm onto the Kiana is going to fall. Actually, never mind. The Braum shield saves her. Braum's life is going to go down instead. No, nobody dies from the side of Butler, but we are seeing more scrapping. And as I was going to say, beautifully well played on a macro standpoint from IU there to move from mid to bot lane and move their top laner from top to mid to play for these tier 3s and these inhibs. They are just playing very clean League of Legends. And we're seeing just more scrapping. They're going to grant entrance in. The ult's going to come down from Aurora. Going to kill the Orianna to start. Gwen is going to fall before she can do any damage. Grand entrance down onto Carthago, who gets exhausted to keep it slow. To double kill for High Prince. And they are going to try and take the base now to end this game and continue their journey in the winner's bracket. Yama fanboy taking some tower damage is not going to quite fall to Kim yet. Yama's going to grand entrance, hits them both, shield up from Braum. Both going to die. High Prince is legendary. 9-0-8 on the Aurora. Great game there in general, but really well played there in the last 10 minutes from IU to blow it out.
That's right. That was honestly very close for the bulk of the game.
Yeah.
It was just towards the end there that IU really started to snowball. I think because Butler couldn't kill the Aurora and get that shutdown money and just take her out of the game, she kept getting away. And I think that's kind of what their undoing was there for Butler.
Yeah, and this is, like I said, in the middle of that game and during the Purdue game, the theme of today is going to be the teams with better macro are going to be the teams that blow wide open a game and can win a game, right? And like I also said, League is a little bit at a time and then all at once. You saw slowly the cracks in Butler and the strength of IU. You saw their mid laner and Sleep having a lot of pressure, winning out on the trades. Aurora was always in a better spot than the Gwen, playing the lane, wave management better, moving on the right timers. Yama was always one step ahead of Papa J-Ster. And at the beginning, it's very small details. It's very small differences. The Butler team was putting up a fight. It was very close. But then when it all falls apart quickly. You know, Kim, Bull 4 dies in the top lane, misses the supreme display of talent, dies to Aurora. The Baron play happens. There's a fight going back and forth for that. It ends up going in IU's favor. And that's what happens in this game and on LAN at places like this, is you are going to see very close games and one team is just going to snap win it.
Yeah, and I think it was just an accumulation of like a lot of those little objectives, just those dragons, those grubs, just a lot of that in IU's favor, when in reality it probably shouldn't have been. Butler had so many opportunities to get some of those smaller objectives from IU, but IU just played around them and they ended up getting them, and it all snowballed, as you said.
Yeah. There were definitely options. That is, again, the macro aspect of the game. You could have traded the dragon for the first grubs. You could have dove top instead of playing around mid lane and got the second set of grubs. You had a lot of options there from Butler, but the clean macro from IU where they say, we're going to make the right decision, and as soon as you make the wrong one, we're also going to win that one too. They're winning both. They're having their cake and eating it too. It's exactly what you want to see from a team like IU, you know. Competitive, like possibly the champs today. Like they are in the running. They're people's favorites. You know, Ball State's up there in those favorites. These teams are the ones that are like, if you don't take what we're giving you for free, we'll also take that too.
Yeah. It was a very dominant game towards the end there for IU. Absolutely. Can't argue there. Who do you think was the biggest difference maker on each of the teams?
High Prince, top lane, and Sleep. The solo lanes for IU were incredible. They were definitely a cut above their counterparts in that game. High Prince was always in the right spot. He was making a lot of plays. He was good in team fights. Sleep had a lot of pressure mid, like I said, was obviously more comfortable in the matchup. And for Butler, Carthago had that first kill, but couldn't quite play the lane out the way he wanted to because of the macro and how it was going on. And Yama was always in a right spot, and it's hard to play Braum into Rakan. So I think it's a mix of IU solo laners being really good and the draft limiting Butler's shining stars for that game, because Bull 4 was definitely in a position to be a threat that game. Carthago was too, but there were options that just were not available to them because of their draft.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
because of the great gameplay by IU solo laners.
Absolutely. I completely agree, especially because for a long time, I mean, Sleep was going like 1-4 for a good portion of that game because Bull 4 kept like bullying the mid lane and trying so hard to get Bacon ahead in that fight, but just didn't pan out. Just constantly Sleep's ability to chip down the other team just played so well. Sleep played so well.
And the jungle support synergy there from Yama and Yama Fanboy 123. Like you could tell that they have played a lot of games together. They understand what they're supposed to do, where they're supposed to be. They were making plays around mid lane, diving the Orianna. They made plays around top lane to get the Aurora head. They were always at the objective early. Those two were lock and key together the whole time, were stuck together. They were always in the right spot. Very well played by those two too. And oftentimes support jungles, when you're on those engaged champs, you don't get the credit you deserve. It's like being an offensive lineman in football. Like you might be the one that powers the engine, makes the team go and puts people in positions, but you're not flashy. You know, you're not the one that everyone's going to get hype about because you had 9 kills, you know. But those two played that game very, very well too. It was just really well played from IU.
Yeah, I completely agree. Absolutely.
I think what's going to happen now is we're going to see IU move to the next stage, round 3 of the winners bracket, which the winner of that game will go to grand finals. So that's the winners finals. We're going to jump into a break before going into the Purdue Ball State winners bracket game, which will be their second game. Game 1 was won by, I will let you know as soon as I do know. Ball State won game 1, and we'll go into game 2 of that. Winner of that will play the IU game in the winners. Butler was going to move down to the losers bracket, and when we get back from break, I will update you on what we know about the losers bracket games as well. So stay tuned.
Thank you for watching. For more updates, follow the Butler Esports socials at Butler Esports.